All right, so today I'm joined by Adrian Lee, coming off a win over Shozo Isojima over at One Championship. How you been, man? It's been about a year since we last spoke.
Yeah, man, I've been doing great. I've been just, basically I've been in camp ever since, the fight before this fight. And yeah, it's been great. Life's been great. I'm happy to be back in the win column.
Okay. And yeah, we kind of spoke about that a second ago. You got to be doing better now. For those that don't know, you were given a really tough matchup in that last one with Tye Ruotolo. You were coming off a loss, so then you just fought Shozo back in the win column now.
Yeah, honestly, like I absolutely hated being 3-1. That entire few months where I was 3-1, like I hated like, the fact that I even had a loss on my record now. But, I was able to kind of come to terms with it and, like you can't really change the past. So I've been just trying to, take as much as I can ever since from that loss and use it to, uh, help me progress myself as an MMA fighter.
Okay. Well, just kind of even speaking about that fight and everything, that one kind of took me by surprise just because I didn't imagine that they would match you two prospects up right against each other like right away. I mean, wasn't that Ty's debut or no?
Yeah, it was also Ty's debut, and yeah, honestly, I was pretty surprised too. I definitely thought that a fight with the Ruotolo boys would be something, I was going to see them later on in my career. But yeah, what the organization wants, they're going to get. So, yeah, but at the end of the day, it happened and it was great. It was a great learning experience.
Okay. Was that the first one that they offered to you, or were you like going back and forth between like a few opponents and it just happened to land on Ty, or how did that matchup even kind of come together?
Yeah, the fight with Ty, they were kind of pushing for Ty. Yeah, I saw Tye Ruotolo, he was calling me out online and stuff too, and One Championship was pushing for it, and so that's just, how the fight ended up happening.
Okay. And then they're kind of famous for being brothers too, right? And then you and your whole family, you guys both come from fighting families. So what was
Mhm.
that dynamic like kind of like throughout fight week? Seeing like, him with his brother, you're with your brother and shit like that.
I mean, I feel like I didn't really take that into consideration too much. I mean, like whenever I saw them, I greeted them because I got no hard feelings against them. It's just a fight game. But yeah, that's how it was.
Okay. And then I don't want to like dwell too much on it, but I think this is just questions that the fans want to hear, so maybe we can just do this one for them. But how did you how did the fight going into it, you were very confident, right? Because it is Ty's debut. You spent your whole life doing this, training
Mhm.
martial arts. So the way you kind of expected it versus how it played out, can you just talk about that a little bit as well?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Going into that fight, I was, very confident in my skill set and how we lined it up. I fully believed I was going to come out with the win. Unfortunately, because of how the fight played out, that wasn't my night. But, I still fully believe that that same night I could have gone back and beat Ty, It's just the way it played out, a few things that went into, the camp that happened leading up to the fight. But yeah, it was unfortunate. As soon as we started the fight, he got in on my legs and we went right into his world. And the Ruotolo boys, they can hang out, they can hang with anybody in the world on the ground. So definitely I was sucked right into his game right away. I wasn't able to get off my game plan. But yeah, I was happy that I was able to, kind of stifle all of his attempts on the ground. I feel like I may have overestimated the gap between our grappling skills. Like, yeah, going into it, I feel like I was able to really just hang with Ty on the ground. And I feel like if I was able to kind of play my own game plan more so going into that fight, as opposed to, changing up my game to fight Ty since his specialty is grappling, I believe that, it would have seen a better game come out of myself.
Okay, so you almost like once you guys started getting in those grappling exchanges, that wasn't the game plan, but like in hindsight, you liked the way you kind of performed in some of those exchanges, and you should have probably maybe not given so much respect to his grappling. Is that almost what you're saying?
Yeah, honestly, in a sense, because it's not so much that I'm not discrediting him as a grappler at all, but for what I'm saying is that, I believe that, our grappling skill sets aren't so far apart. And I believe that if I went into that fight, like changing up the game plan a little bit, I believe that, that would have also led to a different outcome.
Okay, got you. And how did he kind of like how did the fight play out to where like you ended up falling into his game plan? Like what's your memory of that?
Yeah, going into that fight, I was kind of going into it a little bit blind per se, just because, I've never seen Tye fight before. Going into the fight, we didn't know if he was going to be a southpaw or an orthodox, and we didn't really know what their game plan was going to be, how he was going to strike. So I think, him coming out in southpaw and he kind of got in on my leg real quick. That was just partly my fault. I was a little bit too excited to get into the striking and that's what gave him the pocket and the opportunity. But yeah, these things happen. It's just the fight game.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's probably kind of weird going into a fight where you have no film on your opponent. So
Yeah.
obviously tough to prepare for.
Mhm.
Speaking of preparing though, and some of the things that went down before the fight actually took place, did you want to address any of that stuff by chance? Not to let you make excuses and stuff like that, but just asking if you wanted to address anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly, I'm not really one to make excuses. No one ever goes into a fight being 100%, I mean, obviously, it would have been better if we just hadn't taken the fight because because of the fact that I had a fracture in my back that we didn't find out until after the fight. And also leading up to it, I had a rib injury, which stopped me from sparring for a few weeks out. So I mean, every fighter is gonna go through these injuries throughout their fight camps, and it's their own fault if they decide to go and fight and they lose that fight for themselves. So yeah, no excuses from me.
Okay. In other words, you signed the contract, so you're not using this as a reason why like you lost per se, but you're almost saying like if you guys fight again, and you don't have these things going on, you're a lot more confident in what you can deliver on the
Yeah,
night.
100%. Honestly, I believe that if my body was at 100% throughout the camp, throughout that fight, I fully believe that it's going to be a different outcome. Yeah, like as you said, I'm not making any excuses, but I want to say that, if I'm 100% going into my next fight with Ty, I feel like even today, I would be very different.
Okay. And then how did you get past everything? Speaking about this fight that you just had last weekend, the 3 months you said that you hated it, being like coming off that loss. So what was the process of just kind of going through everything and then switching over to get ready for this fight and kind of like forgetting about the past? If you did forget about the past.
Mhm. Yeah, honestly, it's not so much about forgetting about the past. For me, it was more so coming to, kind of like a conclusion with it. Just the fact that, it's happened and that, there's nothing I can do about it. And I feel like, once I was able to kind of get past the initial shock of like, like my career taking this turn for the worst per se at that time, I believe that, I don't believe that like what when everyone says like what's happened was meant to happen. I fully believe that that fight could have been different and my career would have gone on in the same trajectory. But I feel like ever since that fight, it's really kind of jump started my career even further. I feel like I've grown tenfold from that fight with Ty than my past first three fights, and I feel like I've really developed my skills as a fighter.
Did it kind of like show you what to work on almost through that
Yeah,
fight?
yeah, definitely. It was my first time ever facing any adversity inside of the ring. My first three fights, I blew past them. I was able to just kind of get in there, execute my game plan, and that was the first time, I've ever been taken down, first time I've lost around, and it was, yeah, it was definitely a big learning experience.
Okay. What was if you could tell me, because I know you have a big family, they all support you. So I won't ask you what everybody said to you, but maybe like what was the best piece of advice you got coming off the loss, whatever it was that stands out to you if you got anything.
Yeah, I think. Honestly, after the fight, there wasn't too many things where it was like I needed to be told because it was kind of everything I already knew. But I think what do you call when some words of advice, my brother gave me and my coaches gave me was that, just loss is a part of life and all champions have lost some time in their career, sometime in life. And it's really true, it's kind of crazy in this fight game. Like it's the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. And yeah, all champions have lost sometimes in their life, inside of their career, and it's just something you have to get through.
Okay. And so kind of just going back to the question that the main realization you got from the fight is that it's just a part of life. Don't get too down on yourself over it necessarily. Just move forward.
Yeah, I'd say, it was yeah, I'd say it's just I've summed it up to, loss is a part of life. I mean, everyone loses sometime. Like life is unforgiving, and you can't control everything that happens, like all outcomes. You can just do your best to prepare yourself for it, and what's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Right. Okay, so with this fight and the training camp and everything, did you make any changes in the training that you could maybe tell me about?
Yeah, more so leading up to this fight, and ever since that fight with Ty, I was kind of just working on developing every area of my game further, working on developing my grappling further, my striking, my wrestling, and just kind of, trying to improve myself as a fighter all around. And with Shozo Isojima, he wasn't so much as a specialist like Ty, was a specialist with grappling. He was more of like an all-around fighter. So it was mostly just upping up all my skills and preparing a game plan for him.
Okay, did you happen to get any new coaches or anything you're like you put more focus into for this camp, or would you say it was the overall MMA game?
Yeah, essentially it was the overall MMA game. I did fly down some training partners that helped out a lot during the camp, but no new coaches. It was necessarily just working on further developing the game plan.
Okay. And then for throughout the fight week,
Mhm.
what was it like for you compared to the last one? Because the last one was a bit more like a high notoriety fight, more pressure with that one. So going into this fight week, like how did it feel in comparison?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say that going into this fight week, I was a lot more calm. I feel that like ever since that last fight with Ty, like I've kind of had to learn how to deal with composure and adversity. And I feel like it's really helped me, develop, the mental aspect of this sport. And I feel like I've been able to kind of keep that calmness, that composure during fight week, during fight camp. And I feel like, yeah, during fight week, I was real calm. And when I got in the ring, I was real calm. I was able to just get in there and execute my game plan.
Okay. And so how did the fight play out for those that didn't see it? You know, I saw some highlights on there. You were mounted on top of him, raining down like insane elbows with no mercy. I mean, absolutely no mercy with that. But how did the fight play out? And then it was a first round finish, correct?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a first round TKO. Yeah, the first round played out. It was actually during the opening 30 seconds, I was pressuring him to the ropes and I actually got clipped a little bit. I almost went down to one knee. I stumbled a little bit, but I was really quick to regain my composure and my instincts just kicked in and I was able to, kind of keep my composure. Then I got into a strike entry, a takedown and I was able to keep him controlled and land some heavy ground and pound.
Okay. Why not go for the submission there? Were you pissed off that he almost rocked you there for a second?
Yeah, honestly, for me, like, it was always like my family's whole thing is always just to take whatever comes first. And like, for me, it was just so happened the TKO was there. I mean, he did almost give up his back, and I was gonna take it, but he started to bail. So I decided to play the safe route, just stay on top, keep my position, and keep bringing down those elbows.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Because you do see sometimes people get a little bit greedy, maybe
Yeah.
try to go for a submission, like a guillotine or whatever the case, and then they lose the whole exchange, so to speak. Like the guy ends up on top of them going for
Yeah.
the submission. So if you felt that you had the control there, no need to switch it up.
Yeah.
Your brother was out of town, right? And he only showed up on the day of.
Yeah, my brother, yeah, he's expecting his fourth child actually next month. So he's been real busy with, all of his kids. And so he was telling me that he wouldn't be able to come up until, a day before the fight. And then I was like, that's all right? He was just kept in touch with me during fight week. And I had to fly down a training partner for the week. And, I was just grateful that he was there for the fight day. And yeah, it was a great outcome.
Okay, so it worked out. But for the next one, do you hope that he can be there throughout the whole week or what?
Yeah, definitely I always love having my brother there and especially he's my head coach, so it's always really great to have him there. But you know, it's also hard to balance because with my brother being my head coach and also him being an active MMA fighter, we have to kind of schedule out our careers. And that it's made it difficult for us to both get fights sometimes. So there may be some fights in the future where he'll only be able to fly out for, obviously the day of, or just maybe not at all. I mean, I hope that he'd be able to make it out to all of my fights, but we'll just see how, everything schedules out.
Is it just because of the training and certain dates, like, you wanna make sure that you can fully train for your fights and not both of you guys preparing at the same time or something?
Yeah, yeah, that's honestly it because it's hard for my brother to run my camp and to run his own camp at the same time because essentially my brother is his own head coach right now, but my dad stepped away from the MMA scene for a while, but he has been coming back, but more so my brother is still in the head coach position. So he's kind of running both my camp and his camps. And it's hard when both of us are each other's main training partners as well. So we kind of just have to be like each person gets to have a 2 month fight camp and then we switch, then the other person has a 2 month fight camp and so on and so forth.
I see. So you guys don't have one person that could train the both of you if you guys got booked on the same card or something, that's why it's not working out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because, honestly, like our room with our guys, like the fight scene in Hawaii isn't too big. And it's kind of hard to there's not that many pros on the island, and it's hard to get like really good, consistent guys. But we're working on building up a team to, help us prepare for our fights. But, it just sometimes schedules don't line up.
Okay. Does your dad just kind of, not wanna do coaching anymore per se? Like, he doesn't like to be involved with it or what?
Yeah, for a while, my dad stepped away from the MMA scene. I think for my second pro fight is when he started coming back into the MMA scene. But yeah, since then, I mean, he's been starting to come back more and more and to help out with the coaching and with the managing and stuff like that. But it's mainly my brother is still the one who does it all. But my dad's been helping out a lot now.
Okay. Does your brother ever talk about wanting to get, like, a coach of his own? Or, I mean, do you help him? Do you coach him, so to speak, a little bit when, like, if you don't have a fight booked and he does, or?
Yeah, yeah, I actually do. Yeah, I do help out my brother a lot with the coaching and with running his camp as well. Just because, I feel like now that like I'm older, like I wasn't like I remember when I used to be like 13 years old trying to help my brother prepare for like, his getting ready for his second belt. It was like real hard, but I feel like now that, I'm 4-1 as a pro, I feel like I really know what I'm talking about and I can really, help him with his fight camps as well.
Okay, so it's like you guys helping out each other for now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, for sure. You guys ever trained at Nito's, since we last spoke by chance?
No, we have not. No,
Okay.
yeah. Didn't get the chance to.
You guys plan on it? Not that I'm trying to pressure it, I'm just asking genuinely.
I think me and my brother were actually just talking after this fight. We are planning on getting some cross training with some boxers.
Mhm.
I don't know if we're gonna be going to the Nito's Boxing Academy, but we'll definitely be trying to get in some rounds with the local fighters. We have sparred and like had some guys cross train that were like two professional boxers. He actually just got a win like a few days ago. I don't know if you seen he just got like a fifth round KO or something. I
I
don't know.
missed it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's a 7-0 pro boxer from Hawaii. He's fighting on the Zuffa boxing card, I think.
Oh, he is. He's from,
Yeah.
where in Hawaii?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
don't
don't know.
know
But he's
around
from
there.
Hawaii for sure.
Yeah, he's from Hawaii. Yeah.
Okay, 7-0, and he fights for Zuffa?
Yeah, yeah. He
What's his
was
name?
Jay Brio Benito, I think.
Okay.
He
I'll
was
look out for it.
Freddie Roach's guy. Yeah.
Freddie Roach's guy.
hmm
Okay. And your
Yeah.
brother trained with him recently before he went out for his fight?
Oh, me and my brother trained with him like a few months ago. Yeah, he came down to cross train.
Okay, got you. And then when's your brother gonna get a fight going and stuff? I actually would like to do an interview with him, so maybe once it gets going, I can reach out to him too.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
meaning to, but just been busy myself.
Yeah, I'll let my brother know too that you want to do an interview. But I think he's planning for like kind of the middle of this year, either June or July, just because he's having his fourth next month and so he's gonna be real busy with that. And yeah, there hasn't the one championship hasn't been reaching out with any contenders yet, so he's been kind of just waiting on call and just, taking care of his family.
Okay, and then he's the lightweight champion currently, right?
Yep, the
Or
lightweight and the welterweight.
lightweight and oh, so he's the two division champion like simultaneous right now.
Yeah.
Where is he gonna fight next? Do you know, or is he open for anything?
He's open for anything, just sometime in June or July.
Okay, so June or July return after the baby comes.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. And then I had one other good one that I just wanted to touch on real quick. Um Oh yeah, it was a random one, but I knew it was something related to your brother. Like your whole family has a lot of kids, right? Like your sister's got a lot of kids. How many kids does your sister have?
Well, actually, my sister only has one kid.
Oh, only one. So your
Yeah,
brother
yeah.
got four, but you come from like a bigger family, like four siblings.
I come from four siblings, and my brother is also gonna be having their fourth.
Yeah. So it's a random one, but I just wanted to know like no pressure. So just answer it carefully or whatever. But like do you want kids young or are you like more so now that you're an uncle of four or like five, you're like I could wait a little bit.
Yeah, you know, honestly, like after seeing all the work that goes in and like how tough it is, like I'm like, ooh, I'm like, give me a couple years, like I'm good. I mean, I don't want to have kids old, but I definitely want to have this time to kind of just, focus on my career and kind of, I really want to achieve a lot in the sport and I want to stay active, and that's gonna be hard if I'm like, building a family. So I think maybe like 25 years old, maybe I'll start.
Okay, how old are you now? Like 20 or something?
I turn 20 next month.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
still 19?
I'm still 19, yeah.
Okay, so you got a little bit, like a little bit
Yeah,
more than 5 years left.
yeah.
Okay, got you. And when do you want to return to I don't think it's the octagon, right? So I won't say
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah,
The cage.
honestly, I would really like to have a quick turnaround fight in like April, if that's possible. Yeah, there's a card in Tokyo which I was really wanting to get on, but that might be full. But there's another card in like on the 11th in Thailand. And if they're able to find me a fight for that, that'd be perfect because this fight was real great. I came out with no injuries, and I'd love to bring this camp it forward into, another camp.
Okay, maybe April then or something.
Yeah.
Are you able to reach out to one and maybe try to get the ball rolling? Because
Yeah,
you are
we
younger.
are.
I think with you, not younger in age wise, but the people who are more newer in their career, it seems like you guys are the matchmakers. They can get you guys fights more, but people like your brother, who are
Mhm.
like higher ranked and champions and stuff like that, that's where the politics comes in, where you can't fight as often. So like, you think you could maybe force their hand to get you back in there soon?
Yeah, yeah, obviously, like since I'm so young in my career, I like what I'm really wanting to do is stay really active. And yeah, we've definitely been talking to the matchmakers, and hopefully we're gonna see if we can make something happen in April. But yeah, my goal for this year is to make maybe hit like 4 or 5 fights this year.
Okay, that'd
Yeah.
be dope. So you could do like maybe every 3 months run a fight or something.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
how they used to do it in boxing, kind of like they fight
Oh
every
yeah.
month and shit.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I have a few more for you. Kind of some random ones now, but Max Holloway,
Mhm.
Charles Oliveira, BMF title fight coming up. A lot of people think that for some reason Max is gonna lose to Charles this time around. Maybe I don't know what you think about it, but he obviously beat him the first time. How you
Mhm.
think this fight's gonna play out?
Yeah, the first fight between the two of them, they didn't really have a chance to like really go at it because of that injury that Charles had. But honestly, I think that Max is gonna take it. I think definitely, a fight's a fight, and anything can happen. But I think that Max has a good chance at winning it.
Okay. Do you think that this fight will be more? I don't know how much you pay attention to a guy like Charles per se, but if you do you think that this fight comes down to more mental or skill, or what will be your read on something like that? Because in the first fight, he did kind of like submit to like an injury, so to speak, before anything really happened. So do you think like, and Max is very mentally strong, headstrong going into all of his fights. So do you think that that would help him get the win, or what do you think would help him maybe get the win in this case?
I think that I feel like it'll come down to preparation for the fight. I feel like whoever prepares better for this fight is gonna, be able to come out with the win. But yeah, honestly, I feel like if as long as Max can keep it on the feet, I feel like he'll be able to, probably knock out or TKO Charles.
Okay, you think maybe a knockout or a TKO then,
Or decision, yeah.
or
Any of
decision?
them. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I mean, Charles is crazy on the feet, and now it's at 155. So that's the one interesting thing for me is like, does Charles pack a crazy amount of power behind his punches at 55? Because like, I don't know if you heard about this, but Gaethje says that the dude who hit him the hardest is freaking Charles.
I did not hear about that. Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know.
So I don't
Oh,
know if
that's
155-pound Charles could be different.
that is true, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Did they fight the first time at 45? Or I mean
Yeah, they
55
did.
or 45, yeah.
45, yeah. They're like freaking like they look like, baby faced and shit like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
back then.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been seeing them. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, for sure. And then another good one coming up, your favorite fighter actually, which is kind of crazy, but Ilia Topuria. I didn't forget about that.
Yeah, yeah.
He's fighting Gaethje. Speaking of Gaethje at I
That's
think the White
confirmed.
House. It's pretty much or yeah, it's the White House isn't confirmed, but I think it is, but he's 100% fighting Gaethje next.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't really know how to feel. I feel like honestly, I feel like Ilia is gonna beat him on that.
Mhm.
But I feel like yeah, it's too I hope that Armin gets a chance to get a title shot sometime soon.
I was gonna ask you about that one. So, okay, you think that Ilya is gonna beat Gaethje, which is kind of like I think everybody's going that route. I am
Yeah.
interested to see it though, because Gaethje's a dog, and I think he might have a couple inches on Ilya, so it makes for an interesting fight. Like, Gaethje pretty durable. I just hope he's still fast enough and he has quick enough reaction times. Because if he doesn't, I think it could be pretty dangerous for him.
Yeah, yeah.
But with Armon, you think like Armon could beat your favorite fighter, Mr. Ilya?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Armin has a good chance at it. Yeah, I think that Armin has good wrestling, but you never know because I feel like Topuria, he like people forget that he originally came from like a grappling background. So like, he does have a good grappling and or wrestling. He came from a wrestling background. So he has good wrestling, good grappling. But yeah, I feel like I just feel like Armin probably has like the best shot inside of the lightweight division right now.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely does. It's just crazy because Armon, like, he does all these crazy things. I think you've probably seen it by now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
headbutting, punching the fans, pulling
yeah.
out of the fight. So he would have been got that title shot if he just wasn't up to some bullshit, but it's all right. He a fighter, he could be a little bit crazy at times.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
whenever I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, yeah, yeah. That's
He's
just
out of his
not my
mind.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You're more civilized, I guess,
Yeah.
than Armon. Okay. And I got like a funny one. This is also just kind of like relating to some recent like historical stuff, I guess you could say. But there's this thing, I don't know if you hear about it, but you're younger, so I figure this is why I'm actually asking you the question. You know that guy clavicular and stuff like that?
Particular. That sounds familiar.
He's like a streamer. He's like that looksmaxxing guy.
I feel like I probably know him if I saw him. Yeah.
Okay. He's like this white guy.
Mhm.
And he's about your age. I think he's like 20. But he did this thing where he was speaking to that UFC fighter Todd Duffy.
Mhm.
And there's this thing called looksmaxxing. That's what he's famous for. Like trying to make you look like a better looking as a man, and then apparently you get more opportunities and shit like that. But it's funny because he spoke to Todd Duffy, and it's like counterintuitive, but they agreed that like training MMA is like looksmaxxing because like by getting punched in the face, it gives you like well, okay, I'll just get into this whole thing with you. But
Yeah.
he did this thing called bone smashing, I guess, and it's like where you take a hammer and you just like lightly pound on like your cheekbones and shit, and I guess it makes it more pronounced. So then when he ran into Todd Duffy, he found a new variation of bone smashing, which is getting punched in the face. And so like I guess Todd Duffy, he got a really pronounced like cheekbones and shit like that. And I was just gonna say that like I remember you used to have a really baby face, and now you're a bit more chiseled. So I don't know if it was like looks maxing from like MMA or what, but
I mean,
maybe they're onto something. Maybe they are onto something.
I've never heard of that that stuff. But I mean, I just think it's me growing up. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they want to say looks maxing is, MMA. I mean, they can go for it.
You don't have any people coming in the gym asking to get punched in the face for like some looks maxing shit.
Thankfully not. Yeah,
Not yet.
thankfully not.
All right, for sure. Maybe it'll happen soon though, because that clavicular guy is super fucking popular. Super popular.
Crazy.
You watch any streamers by chance?
No, I don't watch any like streamers, but I mean, I've seen like a bunch of clips about like Rampage. Rampage, I've been doing a lot of like streams and like all that stuff happening with like what's that one? Yeah, Dean the Great getting freaking slapped and elbowed.
Yeah, yeah, you saw that one too then.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
What's your consensus on that one? I feel like you might have an opinion on that. I do. But like what did you think? Let me lead into it a little bit. That guy Dean talking to Tiki like that,
Yeah.
like pressing him and just like trying to like make him a bitch or something. As
Yeah,
soon as he
yeah.
walks away, he's gonna be like, I punked that dude. So I mean, what's Tiki supposed to do? But like, what did you make of that? Like treating a guy like that, like, shouldn't you expect to get elbowed?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like he just had it coming. He just had it coming. Like, I mean, like that guy, I was like, that's just like that's like stupid. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do with like all that stuff, but Yeah, no, I think that's a very bad idea to try to, go up and press anyone like that, especially, an MMA fighter or ex-MMA fighter.
I know he had no clue that elbow was coming, honestly. He's a boxer, you know? So
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
the last thing he was thinking, and that elbow came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? I had something more about this whole Tiki thing. Um oh, because you told me you're not really like a street fighter type of guy, like it's not really in you. But like, do you think you're like if you could imagine that scenario, like if someone's trying to bitch you like that on camera, especially, like I don't think that you would probably throw the elbow, but like do you think your ego could handle walking away and like feeling like you got bitched and turned it down or like just a genuine question, you know? Because like I don't know how I could handle that. I might walk away, but then I'm definitely gonna be like down on myself for walking away. I probably would have wished I
Yeah,
punched him or something.
that's so hard
I
because,
know.
I mean, especially being like an MMA fighter, like if you like go and assault somebody, like you could like face jail time for a while and like I don't know. I feel like I'd be able to just kind of walk away. I'd just probably be pissed off for a while. I would have regretted not punching him, but I feel like I probably wouldn't, you know, like engage in assaulting somebody.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you can admit that you would probably like think you're a little bit of a bitch for doing that or something.
Oh yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
pissed off that I decided to walk away, but I probably still would.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You got too much going for yourself, you know, to be like getting yourself involved in shit like that. So that could be the golden excuse. It's like, I got to show up to training tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to waste my time on this guy. You know,
Yeah.
Tiki, he retired. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did, last question I got for you. Have you, because I know you watched the UFC. So what have you thought about the Paramount era? Like, do you like it? Is there any thoughts you have on it?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's great what they're doing for the company. I was wondering how the top fighters are still gonna get paid since they're not doing like the what do you call the pay-per-view points and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's great. Like I have Paramount. I'm glad that like I don't have to spend like $80 a pay-per-view now. But yeah, I mean, if they didn't have ads within like the rounds, I feel like other than that, it's been like great.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they did make a change to where like they do this side by side now. So you can like
Oh yeah,
see it without the audio
I
and
see.
then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ad plays and you listen to the ad, but you can still see what's going on. So I think they're trying to listen to the fans, which is nice to see because with ESPN and shit, we were staring at that blue screen and like that like standstill screen for commercials
yeah,
and shit for like the whole time. You know, they never listened to us once.
yeah, yeah,
The one thing I would say about Paramount, I don't know if you noticed this one, but when I watch it on my phone, like fucking we all have like short attention spans and shit.
yeah.
So when I go to like reply to a text message or make a post for
Yeah, it
like a
goes
fight
with
that just
like
happened,
the little
you can't
bit.
watch it on the mini player.
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
So they got to fix that one. If you could let us watch it on the mini player, it's like golden.
Yeah.
Cause you can't miss like, you know, like 2 seconds of a fight and like go back and rewind it. Like
Yeah.
you gotta be in tune the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I wish, yeah, that'd be great if they could add that to that.
Yeah. Last thing I got, just as a random one too, but you said that you were gonna buy like a bunch of gifts or something, like your wallet hurts during the holidays because like all the nephews and nieces or whatever. But
Yeah.
how much you spend over the last holidays on like your nieces and nephews?
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad. I think it was probably like $200 for like all of them, I
Oh
think.
damn, what? Because they're like young anyway.
They're
You don't
young,
gotta
yeah.
buy them something super expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, once they start, getting old and start like really wanting things, then that's gonna be when it starts hurting. Yeah.
And then if you have the money for it, you're like, fuck, I kind of want to do it for them, but then it
You
all
can't be the
adds up.
lame uncle.
You got to buy him the PlayStation that your
Yeah.
brother won't buy for him or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on and congratulations on getting back in the win column. Looking forward to the return and let's just say April, May or something like that.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, thanks. It was great talking to you.
All right, good talking to you, Adrian. Have a good one, brother.
You too.